Hey everyone! So this week's question comes in from Cheryl Cruz. Hey Cheryl! I haven't seen you in a while. I miss having you around. Cheryl was one of the first HHC patients ever. She told me she doesn't mind if I share her story. So she came to me really struggling with pain from fibromyalgia and wanting to be her young and vibrant self that she was before she got hit with all the pain and weakness. So we did a ton of work to bring down inflammation, relax the muscles, and correct some homeostatic imbalances, and she killed it. Just last month, she sent me a pic of her smashing the CrossFit open like a beast. So you go, girl. I'm so proud of you, and you're doing awesome. So Cheryl's question is, what about beans? Let me explain because I know what she's talking about. We've had many discussions about this. So many of today's pop diets are removing grains and starchy carbs, including legumes, and Cheryl did this for a while to bring down her inflammation as well. But most of what we were taught was that beans are super healthy for you. So why are they counted out of so many health diets now? So let me start by saying I love beans and legumes. I literally just finished a Buddha bowl that was filled with chickpeas an hour ago. They're great source of protein, healthy carbs, and fiber, meaning they're filled with the good for you calories that we all need. And they're definitely not on the same level as the processed junk foods that the paleo pushers are trying to have you avoid. The reason that many of these diets say no to beans is because of their lectin content. So legumes are very high in lectins, which so are grains and nuts. You know, they're in several different things. Um, and lectins trigger an inflammatory response in the body. So if you take a diet like the Whole30 that's claiming to help you improve your outcomes with, thyroid disease and arthritis and diabetes and weight management and all of these things, they're going to take out anything that might be inflammatory so that you can really notice a difference and really feel the difference that comes from your diet, which is amazing, right? So for instance, when I'm trying to reduce pain and inflammation in a fibro patient, I'm going to remove a lot of the seemingly healthy foods, including a few veggies, simply because they can cause an inflammatory response, especially in patients with any kind of autoimmune phenomenon. So uncooked lectins can actually have deadly consequences, leading to a lot of vomiting and all this stuff. So don't eat raw beans. I don't even understand how you would, but don't do that. Another issue is that beans contain phytic acid, which can bond to other nutrients and make it more difficult for you to absorb them. So, all that fiber and stool bulking that we get from our beans, well, they take other things that you eat at the same time with them. So, for instance, my Buddha bowl that I just ate had chickpeas and sweet potatoes and kale and chard and mustard greens in it. The phytic acid in my chickpeas might have decreased the amount of nutrients that I actually absorbed from my chard and all the other yummy things, but I tried to outnumber my peas with my greens, so hopefully we'll get something out of it. But before you go and clean out your pantry, there's some benefits to beans for sure. So, like I mentioned, their macronutrient makeup makes them a great blood sugar stabilizer and a balanced carbohydrate. They're high in iron and folate and magnesium, which a lot of us are deficient in. So they're not a nutritionally empty carb like your breads and sugars. And they're delicious, to me anyway. So here's what I recommend when it comes to beans. If you're going to eat them, buy fresh beans, not canned. Sorry, I know it's more convenient, but those cans are loaded with sodium and the container has BPA that just adds to your toxin load. Plus, they're expensive that way. So if you buy the bulk beans, before you cook them, you want to soak them for 24 hours, changing out the water and rinsing them at least once. This is going to help get rid of some of those lectins on the surface of the bean and make them easier to digest and less inflammatory. This method also reduces the gas that's often associated with them for the same reasons. Then you want to make sure and really, really boil them. Beans that are undercooked contain higher lectin levels. So you really, they taste better when they're well cooked and they're better for you when they're well cooked. If you take these steps, you can make beans part of a healthy diet. So the way I see it, there's no reason to avoid them if you aren't struggling with an autoimmune disease, but there's also no reason to force yourself to eat them if you don't like them just because your mother told you so. So do what you will with your beans, and if you have any follow-up questions, comment below or shoot me an email at info@hhcdallas. This has been great, guys. Keep these questions coming. Have a great week, everyone, and I'll be back next week.